All right, we in the house. Black Power is the general, y'all. We in the house today. That's right. We pulling up every station. God damn it, we in the house. Ain't no time to be sleeping. Nigga gotta get on this science. You understand what I'm saying? The science of defiance. God damn it, the science of defiance. We in the house. Black Power is the general. Today we're gonna expand on the ancient Egyptian chakra system. You see what I'm saying? That preceded the Indians by thousands of years. You see what I'm saying? That they plagiarized from our ancestors, the Naga Kushites, that's right, that brought that science to the East. You understand? And our people unknowingly, because we've been taught to mimic everything other than ourselves, you know, we today we propagate and we validate uh the Hindu mimicking of our ancient system. And we didn't necessarily call it chakras, but this is what we this is what we identified this system as today. And the serpentine understanding, you understand what I'm saying? As the spinal connection. You understand that, is the backbone of this system. You understand what I'm saying? Because the spine being and the brain being a part of the central nervous system, and then you got your peripheral nervous system, which is the nerves, your nervous system. That's your peripheral uh nervous system. You see what I'm saying? That's the wiring, because the brain is your headquarters. You understand what I'm saying? And the brain sends out electric, magnetic information throughout the spine down into the peripheral nervous system, okay, which sends necessary messages all throughout your body. This is your ancient Egyptian chakra system, which we gonna go over today, and the cosmic connection to various colors in the universe. You understand what I'm saying? Because you got to understand, people got to understand this shit. Y'all think that this is real talk. They program niggas through colors. Okay, that's programming on the highest level. Even when motherfuckers, I'm gonna get off into that, coming up in the upcoming day, when you get off into the 5G, and when you start getting off into these new video games, man, they taking this shit to a whole nother level. You understand what I'm saying? Because every emotion, every color, has a frequency. And not only that, the perception of that color gives a certain level of frequency. You understand what I'm saying? And if you are pre-programmed to accept a certain definition, you understand what I'm saying? Which is defined by not color and frequency. You understand what I'm saying? When you see that, you respond a certain way. You react a certain way. So you could be pre-programmed in a certain society to respond to what could be a liberational frequency. They could flip it through perception. You understand what I'm saying? And I could show you, all throughout, even, the way they design electronics, and that's based off of the body. You understand what I'm saying? The way they set up electronics is because the body is the greatest mechanism machine that has ever been created. And a lot of what we don't understand is they look at nature first and foremost to get a model. And once they get that model, then they come and they make a hybrid, a robotic replica of what they saw in nature. The airplane, they looking at the hawk, they looking at the dragonfly, they looking at the hummingbird, they looking at all of these, these incredible creatures in nature, and how they fly, and how they, how the hummingbird can just hover. You understand what I'm saying? That's a lot where they got that motherfucking F-35. You know what I'm saying? In the design of the Falcon and the Hawk, where it has the most dynamic structure of all the birds. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're looking at the eagle and you looking at many of them big birds, that's where they get them goddamn. When you're talking about the bomber plane, where that motherfucker's so big and shit, and it just cruise across the sky. So they look at nature first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? But they are programming our people, and they're going up in frequency. And when they go up in certain it digs deep down into your motherfucking psyche. And where it go, it pinpoints where in the brain that it focuses on. You know what I'm saying? In a large part of where it focuses, not only in the pineal, but the back, which is also full of melanin, the Niagara, this whatever the term is, Syastrus, whatever it is. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna get that up there real quick. You understand what I'm saying? But it's in that area of the back of the brain is where because dopamine, and then we're talking about in a very addictive area of the brain. You know what I'm saying? And dopamine, the melanin molecule is a large part of the building block of dopamine. And dopamine coming out of that area in the back. And if you open up the brain, you'll see deep concentration of melanin, which I will show in the back. And so, addiction, and this is where it's aimed at in that part of the brain. And if you continue to use, all of this electric frequency and shit, of course, is going to destroy and deteriorate that back of the, that part of the brain. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's exactly where they're going with all these damn video games, because they so fucking addictive. And I was looking at this news report on I think it was ABC, where they was talking about that game Fortnite, man, and these kids, and they show the brain. You understand what I'm saying? And and they got their ass, and they measuring the energy in that part, and that's where they said exactly where that it focuses on is that part of the brain that back there where the melanin is called. I'm gonna get at it right now. I ain't gonna just say it. I'm gonna motherfucker spray it. Where the fuck is that? Hold on, fam. And so today we're gonna be dealing with two colors. We dealing with it from the average. We got to reprogram ourselves. And them damn babies got to come up off them video games on that level, because again, they going into the brain. And when they start going up on this frequency, you understand what I'm saying? We was just talking about that Kingsman movie. You understand? If you ever watched that goddamn movie Kingsman, where they was turning up that goddamn frequency on the motherfucking on them damn telephones. You know what I'm saying? Black Power, I'm in the chat, y'all. I'm in the chat just to let y'all know, just to, you know what I'm saying? Let y'all know I'm peeping. And they ain't gonna stop buying. And them goddamn kids are spending thousands of dollars on that shit. And that's why they making it addictive like that. Every level and shit. You got to pay to go up. You know what I'm saying? It's other shit that you add to your weaponry and all of that and shit. So as you go up, they charging you. You know what I'm saying? Cause we know this, cause the babies is asking me, can we get this, that, and the third? So on these games, shit, the way they charging online and shit, that's more than just buying the game. You ain't just buying the game, because you got to add to the repertoire, the weaponry and shit, and this, that, and the third. So you gonna end up paying thousands and thousands of dollars off of one damn video game. You may pay $75 for the game. But when it come after that, when you want to add on and shit, so it's 100 here, 200 here, 300 here. And so over, it ain't no telling, to get to the top levels, how much money you could end up spending. So they most definitely dealing with these electronics on the level of making sure that these people, not just the kids, but anybody fucking with them video games, that they're going deep into the brain. You understand what I'm saying? To make sure that it's addicting. Not just, you ain't just playing no motherfucking game. Nigga, you falling into a virtual world. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. And then we're gonna get off into, the meat of the science. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna fall off into the meat of the science. Here you go, right here. Here you go, right here. Substantia nigra, okay? Substantia nigra, S-U-B-S-T, and I'm gonna show you that. And I got the imageries, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, let me just show y'all from, a quick, as we get off into this information tonight. You know what I'm saying? Right there. You see the substantia nigra. And so you can see right there where they put the blackness in there, so they know it's full of melanin. And because the melanin molecule is one of the foundational makeup of the dopamine. You understand what I'm saying? In the back of the brain also is the functionings of movement, eyesight, and a whole lot of other things. You know what I'm saying? So when people have a degenerative substantia nigra, you know what I'm saying, they get Alzheimer's disease and they get to shaking. You see what I'm saying? So again, this is this showing you again right there where it's located. You see dopamine, is a part, is leading from the substantia nigra, okay? And the dopamine is got a large responsibility and addiction and this, that, and the third. So we got to understand this is where they're going, because the melanin is the conductor of all that energy and information. You understand what I'm saying? And this, we talking about electromagnetic information. You know what I'm saying? Moving through the body, moving via the central nervous system, which is the brain and the spine, out into the peripheral nervous system, which is the nerves. And so when you see a motherfucker wiring up, and putting wire in, and then you got the mainframe and this, that, and the third, again, they're looking at the physical body as a replica of how to establish these computer system, these robots, what they call AI, what's that? What they call AI? What's the word? Alternative, but artificial intelligence. You see what I'm saying? Artificial intelligence. So anything outside of your own culture is artificial intelligence. Okay, if you live in a lie, you live in somebody else's reality, nigga, you living in artificial intelligence. Now again, today they using all type of shit to break your back. You know what I'm saying? And get into your mind. You know what I'm saying? So today we're gonna start with green. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna start with green. And we're going to go through and understand what green is. And you got to understand, like I said, first and foremost, we are children of the sun. And this is a prerequisite to all the colors. You are a child of the dark cosmos. You understand what I'm saying? You are the womb of the universe. So we understand that black is the primordial color of all color. And when you're talking about the universe as a whole, you're talking about that over 90 to 95% of the universe is dark matter and dark energy. And what you see out in the universe today, such as the stars, such as the sun and all the planets, and that's the 5% that you can see. The other, the 95% is the dark matter and the dark energy. You understand what I'm saying? That's out there, which we know as Ptah, the great black god of the cosmos, creator of all the cosmos in the universe. Okay, now there are many shades of divinity. You understand what I'm saying? But again, we understand black being the primordial and the premier color shade of divinity. Okay, now there's also green. And now for someone who's not a child of the sun, see, we got two different perceptions. You cannot, you know, and we got to give up on all this. We are all the same, because we're not all the same. That's not true. And you understand, there's nothing wrong with it voicing that. Everything in creation got a conceived definition. Everything in nature has a you understand? And so when you drop that apple seed down in the ground, to grow apple trees, because it got a preconceived definition in creation. Everything, when them two cats come together, they're not going to produce a pig. They're going to produce a cat, because the DNA of a cat has the preconceived definition from creation that causes it to produce only that which it was preconceived to produce. So again, when you're looking at, you know, African people, we look at the world totally different. And many of the aspects of European culture wasn't even, it wasn't even a aspect or a thought of African reality. So we wouldn't have never perceived many of these colors the way that European people conceive these colors. And I'm gonna show you, you got the African connection to the cosmos, how we perceive green, and then I'm gonna show you the unfiltered. You understand what I'm saying? The unfiltered, erratic. You understand? Because if you're not connected to the sun, and we've already said that, if you're running from the sun, then you're an unnatural creation within the cosmos. Okay, so right there shows you detached from the creator. Okay, so no way, when you see the sun, you're not gonna see the sun the way that I see the sun. We're going to see the sun as a deity of reverence, a deity of great homage. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to see one of destruction, because it's burning you and you're getting skin diseases and this, that, and the third, which we're not getting. So there's no way we could perceive creation through the same eyes as the oppressor. So when we look at green in ancient Egypt, because we got to see that the Nile is the life force of this area of Africa. Okay. And so, outside of maybe 3 miles on each side of the Nile, or a little further, if I'm not mistaken, give or take a few miles, you got nothing but desert. Okay. And so the Nile is the life force of the river. And each year, when the Nile floods, of course, it brings down that rich black silk from Ethiopia, which fertilizes Egypt. And from there, they begin to plant their seeds. And many times they ain't got to plant a goddamn thing, because Egypt is so fertile. You know what I'm saying? It was known that the damn foods and fruits and vegetables would just come up. What the Africans did was to systemize the agriculture, you know what I'm saying, and put it in rows, and and separate them one from another. So they created a system of agriculture. But Egypt was a paradise. So the one thing is that we understand that we must plant, we must harvest, and most necessarily harvest the food in order to sustain our people in the Nile. And so, green in many respects defines the harvest. You see what I'm saying? So we see that you see Osiris was also, he was shown as black, and many of the other deities were shown, but he was also shown green. You understand? Because again, we are saying that the great God is the all in all. So then that great God will be manifested in all shades of divinity. You see what I'm saying? And so Here we're talking about, when you talk about evergreen, you're talking about eternal life. When you say forever green or evergreen, you're talking about eternal life. Okay, so we're talking about, Osiris being the great god, and also Ptah being the great god of the harvest. You understand what I'm saying? Being, the great god of renewal, okay, and rebirth, because the green deities were most definitely associated with spring and summertime, and more specifically, not only spring but the harvest. You understand what I'm saying? The abundant. Green also is a symbol of abundance. You understand what I'm saying? When you got much green, you got abundance, you got food. You understand what I'm saying? And even when you look, and we'll talk about it, even when you look at many plants and fruits and vegetables, even though they might be of a different color, they always get them green leaves on it. And many of the fruits, even though they may change, and vegetables may change into a different color, they're always green before they become that color. So again, we're showing that green is one of those foundational colors of the cosmos. It's one of those foundational colors of divinity, of which all gods, if they're true to divinity, they must appear in that color of green. And so here you see Nu, in the form of the sycamore tree, which is, sacred to Nu, sacred to Hathor. And you see, right, that the Black woman being God, she was the goddess of substance and what's the word? Substance and it'll come to me. You understand what I'm saying? Star with a P. You understand? But we see that, it represents, fruit, vegetable, and, again, abundance and being able and harvest. You understand? The blessing of the ground, Mother Earth, and not only Mother Earth, Father Earth also, because Geb, which is the Father Earth, was also symbolically shown as green. And we understand chlorophyll is what? Is plant melanin. You understand what I'm saying? It's plant melanin, and when we talk about this plant melanin, just like melanin within us, it is created from the sun. So that shows you how powerful the sun is. And that chlorophyll is so good for our bodies, especially when it's naturally grown vegetation and fruit that been grown, not no frankenfood and shit that been biologically altered and whatnot. And see, many times they have to alter them fruits and them vegetables because they can't, just like they can't take the UV directly from the sun, they can't take it no way from the sun. Anything that is grown naturally from the sun possesses that powerful energy, and it becomes toxic within the body of the European. That's true. You understand what I'm saying? So many times they go inside of these fruits and vegetables to take out certain mechanism and aspects of that fruit and that vegetable that's too powerful for them to consume. You understand? Because it causes cancers inside the body that is disconnected from the cosmos. Okay, so when we understanding that, when you're talking about the green, which again we say is harvest, which is eternal life, we speaking of evergreen, we understand that when we talk of melanin, we have to also talk of chlorophyll because that's the plant melanin. You understand what I'm saying? And we understand that it's the plants that produce the oxygen on the planet. You understand what I'm saying? So when we talk about the vegetation, we're also talking about oxygen. You see what I'm saying? So when you talk about Osiris and you talk about Ptah, you got to also talk about oxygen. You understand what I'm saying? Many times our deities are also shown blue. You understand this, that, and the third. Again, we're dealing with the all and the all. And so when we understand the plant, we understand number one is also, when we talking about the color combinations, you're talking about the sunlight. You know what I'm saying? That which produces black melanin, which produces the green chlorophyll. So you got black, you got green, you got red, and then we understand you need water, and then you got the soil. You know, you got the soil. You know what I'm saying? So you got the black soil, you got the red sunlight, and you got the blue water. And then you get what? You get vegetation, in which, you know, the foundational color for all vegetation is green. Because just like I said, like a tomato, even though it might be red, it's green before it's red. Apples is green before they red. You know, so many of these showing you that, you know, all vegetation and fruit, and even when they become a certain color, they'll still have a green leaf or whatever connected to that plant to show you the foundational color in green. And so we understand, being that, you know, Osiris was one of the most beloved deities of all, you know, ancient Egypt. At the height, and Isis, at the height of the Osirian Isis Heru mystery, you know, a lot of the deities, a lot of the writings on the wall, pictures were again painted green in honor of Osiris, because that was one of his greater colors, even though black was his most profound color. When they were showing when he sitting on the throne, many times he's black and he's green, but his most profound color of all divinity was black. And you see him here, Osiris, Ptah, green, you know, both showing that these great gods were the all in all, and represent renewal, represent Mother Earth. And you also, and when we talk about, you know, and not only Ptah and Osiris, but even extending into West Africa with Ogun. You understand? Being green, and if I'm not mistaken, it's green and black. You understand? But, you know, I'm going to get closer to that. So again, we showing you Osiris, and then we again, Mother Earth. Mother Earth being, you know, symbolically green. So this is what African people got out of the color green. You understand what I'm saying? And when you talk about harvest, you talk about trees, you talk about vegetation, chlorophyll. What else are you talking about? You're talking about herbs. You're talking about herbs and herbal. Okay, and out of that comes medicine. You see what I'm saying? So green is also symbolic of being healthy. It's also symbolic of medicine. You understand what I'm saying? It's symbolic of herbs and teas and those things which can heal. You see what I'm saying? Those things which can heal. So, you know, many fruits, you know, and I looked it up, that are green, you know, grapes, you know, and, you know, wait a minute, I slipped something else in there. Let me come down. I'm going to come back to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to come back to that. You know what I'm saying? You got all type of grapes. I don't know if that's a grape. That's not a grape, but you see right there the apple. You know what I'm saying? Let me come. You know, you see the vegetation, all that. You know, the Brussels sprouts, the broccoli, the greens, the cabbage. You know, all the things we love. And so again, you know, we juicing. You know what I'm saying? That again is when you're talking about juicing, even though symbolically we use all different. That's the greenery. That's the greenery, you know, of the herbal essence or the health, you know, the health consciousness of today. So when you're dealing with green, that's what it means to our people. You know what I'm saying? So you got limes, and you know what I'm saying? You got limes, you got lemons. You know what I'm saying? You got avocados. You know what I'm saying? You got kiwi, watermelon. There's many other things that green. So this is the concepts that, you know, our people got from the color green. And so when we programming our babies, you understand, we cannot program. And then I'm gonna look at, you know, many of the other aspects. Now another, and I showed the grapes. I showed the grapes, and them some good grapes. Another aspect of green, even coming from the Naga Kushites, that is symbolic of serpentine mysticism, and serpentine, which again is going back to the chakra system, because the spine is it was identified as a serpentine symbol. You understand? Even going in, it connected into the brain. Now, some people use reptilian, but I don't want to use, we're not no goddamn, I don't want to use that aspect. You know what I'm saying? I want to use Naga or serpentine in respects to that. I don't want to say reptilian. You understand what I'm saying? Because all reptilians is not Nagas. You understand what I'm saying? When our people identified them, they identified themselves as the king cobra. They identified themselves as the serpentine Naga. They didn't identify themselves as any reptile. Okay, so I don't want to use the term reptilian. I would rather use the term serpentine. You see what I'm saying? As we see here, and that right there is a Naga eye, and you see it's green, and I'm sure if it's a emerald or not. You understand? And then here you see Geb, which you got Mother Earth, but then you got the just like you got Ra and you got Sekhmet. And Sekhmet is the feminine aspect of the sun. All cosmic bodies have a masculine and a feminine. Just like you got the woman, the African woman whose menstrual cycle is synchronized with the moon, the 28 days of the moon. You also got the crescent of Khonsu. You also got Tahuti, who is a moon deity. So you got the feminine and the masculine. So you got Mother Earth and you also got Father Earth. You understand what I'm saying? And you see right there, Geb, long and strong, representing what? Renewal, rebirth, resurrection. You understand what I'm saying? It also represents health. Because when a man is long and strong, he's healthy. That's just real talk. You understand what I'm getting? And again, showing you again that the goddess Nut is shown as an evergreen sycamore. You understand? Representing eternal life. As long as you got vegetation, as long as you have eternal life. And so symbolically, what's above is also below. What is below is also above. You understand what I'm saying? So in the cosmic reflection of what we saw on the earth, we also symbolically, identify our deities with these same attributes. Okay. Let me come in. So you see the importance of trees, removing carbon dioxide. So green is also detoxification, provides fruit. Again, you see that, provides medicine. You understand what I'm saying? Cools our house, add oxygen. Okay, prevent flooding, reduce erosion. And so, the importance of trees. And then the thing is, when you see the trees also speak to the ancestors. When you see especially on the day when you see the wind is moving through the tree, and you see, I love to see that. You know what I'm saying? When you see in the wind is strong, and you got them trees, and they be moving in all different ways. They speak, and the ancestors, the spirits is moving through, and see, that's a way to prove that the ancestors is moving on the planet. You understand what I'm saying? It's not many times, but when you see them trees moving, you know what I'm saying? It almost remind me of the movie King Kong when that first came on. You know something is moving. You know something is coming. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't King Kong, it's the ancestors, and it might be King Kong in respect to the African nation. You understand? So, so again, here you see the tree as Mother Earth, Mother Nature. You understand what I'm saying? And all things, everything in nature, whether it be the animals, whether it be us as African people, whether it be the birds, everything is in necessity of, the agriculture. You know what I'm saying? So green is also symbolic of agriculture. Now, when you see, I got it, where's that at? Where's the black Osiris at? I got so much here. Where's that black Osiris and green Osiris? Man, I got so much, it's ridiculous. That should be up there, though. That should be up there. I don't know where it's located. That's out of pocket for it to be down that far, if it is down that far. It's out of pocket. It ain't there. You know what? It's in the black. It's up here in the black. Let me copy it and bring it down. It got to be. Maybe it's not. Yes, it is. Right here. Let me copy this and bring it down. Because I did it in the Divinity of Blackness. And we go, just because I'm doing this for the first time, don't mean I won't be touching on it and elevating the science. You're going to get it from a lot of goddamn people, but they're not going to come from the aspect of the ancestors. They're going to have everything mixed in. And here, I'm not mixing shit in. I'm coming straight from the ancestors, how they defined it. So when you see right here, as you see the green Osiris, and then you see the black Osiris. So when you look at the black soil, and then you see the vegetation, you see that plant, the renewal, the rebirth of life coming. This is the renewal and rebirth in one aspect of Osiris, because there's many aspects of rebirth and renewal, also through the seed of man. You know what I'm saying? Resurrection, to re-erect, and the rebirth and the renewal is the birth of the child through the black womb of the African woman. So you see right here, Osiris green, you see in black, and this is the representation which we get from that, reflection of the shades of divinity. And you can go into the Naga or the Hindu Naga Kush, and where you see the same symbolic representations of Osiris, because Buddha and Krishna is only Osiris in the East. That's what we have to understand. So you get the green Buddha, you get the black Buddha, you can also get the blue Buddha and the blue Krishna. You understand what I'm saying? Because again, we say the all in all, and in order for you to be the all in all, you got to be the shade of all the divine colors within the universe. So when you're looking at, the epidermis of the plant, you're going to see that many respects of how melanin is formed in the epidermis, in the skin layers of African people. You see that the chlorophyll is also formed within the epidermis of the plant nonetheless. And it takes in carbon dioxide and pushes out oxygen. So we're most definitely, that's life. We could not exist without that oxygen. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how powerful that chlorophyll is in respects to creation, that nothing on this planet could exist without that green vegetation. You understand? That's putting out the oxygen. You see? Let's talk about it. So again, when we talked about the harvest, you see the ancient Egyptians on the Nile, and what you see the vegetation coming up from, and without that, being in that area of the world, without that vegetation, they could not exist. They could not exist. That would be, so when you look again, you're looking at the Nile River, you see the green. You understand what I'm saying? All up and down the Nile. And then when you look out, even into the Mediterranean, you can see where a lot of the greenness, then a lot of the greenness is I'm making sure everything is good. I need my phone up so I can look on. I don't know why I haven't done that. Let me get my monitor up so I can make sure that everything is A-OK. Let me make sure everything is A-OK. Okay, here we go. Okay. So again, you see right there, you can see much of the vegetation or the chlorophyll emptying out into the Mediterranean. I'm in the house. And so if you look up the Nile, you can see that right along the Nile River, you see the greenness. You understand? That's where this is where the harvest is. That's the life force of the Nile. You understand what I'm saying? Without that, you can see this is Osiris, and you can see the silk that comes down from Ethiopia. You understand? Most necessary, and how, divine a system like that, you know what I'm saying, could exist. You know what I'm saying? That the necessary silk, which is the fertilizer every year when the Ethiopian highlands flood, it brings all that silk, the fertilizer from the mountains of Ethiopia down in Egypt, and that's where they plant the seeds. So, and like I say, even from earliest time, even when the Greeks came, they say the shit was just growing. They didn't even have to grow it. What the Egyptians did is they built a system. They systematized the agriculture, but much of it was already growing. You understand what I'm saying? That's why they said that Egypt was the breadbasket of the world, of the Roman Empire. You see? And so again, we looking and you can see, and not far, I said 3 miles. It ain't even 3 miles. You got about 1.5 miles, maybe 2 at the most from that river. And then shit, it ain't gonna be long where you start, going into the sand. You know what I'm saying? So to Egypt, the life force, of the Nile and the harvest is the life and death of the civilization. You know what I'm saying? And so again, we showing you many of the great deities, and when you see Osiris being mummified, see, there's 3 and 4 and 5 stories in this story. You got a spiritual story, you got a physical story. You got more than one. You got an agricultural story here. You understand? You got a cosmic, you got a physical story here. You understand, of the resurrection of his seed and Heru. And you understand, you got a resurrection story of the sun. You got a resurrection story of the harvest. You understand what I'm saying? And so you have many stories that's intertwined into the myth of Osiris. So people can't see one story without seeing the other. You see right here, the great god Khnum shown in the essence of the harvest of chlorophyll, which symbolically remains eternal life. And you see the red up there, which is, the sun, which all green life needs what? Sunlight. It needs water. It needs the black soil. And so you see the shades of divinity. You understand? So when we talk about the Naga, the serpentine, when you talk about the serpentine, see, many of us are, we are lopsided in the things that we do. When you talk about the serpentine, you're talking about the cohesive, intertwining, functioning of all the power centers within the physical realm. You understand? You're talking about some people, all they do is they do the physical. The niggas work out, but their mental ain't together. Some niggas talk about history, but they don't talk about divinity. Some niggas talk about divinity, but they don't talk about the history. Some niggas talk about history, but they don't talk about militaristic history. They talk about one, and so it's also about health. It's about action. It's about studying. It's about spirit. It's about divinity, spirituality. It's about this physical fight for liberation. Okay, but it's the intertwining of all of them systems that brings one to immortality. You understand? You don't get there just by, you can have some of the systems working and they not be intertwined. You know what I'm saying? You could be, powerful in one area of energy and be lopsided in all the others. Or you might have 2 functioning or 3 functioning, but you haven't intertwined the energies in a cohesive working unit. You can have a big ass army and people say, oh, you got the big, but are they cohesively working together? Can they work together cohesively? Can you work your small, large, or your small contingencies with your large contingency? Is your army cohesively working with your Air Force? Is your Air Force cohesively working with your Navy? You can have large groups and shit and not cohesively work and the shit break down on you. You know what I'm saying? So the serpentine intertwining also is symbolic of cohesiveness. And that's got to be, stated. You know what I'm saying? It's the intertwining of all the systems that brings one to immortality. And so when you go into, Doctor Strange, which that's unfiltered because he's not connected to the sun. You know what I'm saying? So that's unfiltered, and all of that is mythology. Only the African has the ability to cohesively bring, because I'm going to show you what the unfiltered understanding of green means. You know what I'm saying? And so again, we understand that even Buddha, you got on side Ogun, which is green and black. And again, we've already shown that the vegetation, brings forth the oxygen. Even when we come to the Olmecs, we got to understand the most profound, one of the most profound colors of the Olmec world was the jade, the green jade. You understand what I'm saying? It was the color. You understand what I'm saying? And so, we understand that also transforms. And we also understand not just the pyramid. That's how, when we talk about the correlation of these civilizations, even a cosmic color spectrum is in correlation with the African color spectrum. You understand? So we understand they didn't see the color spectrum as the European, who is an unfiltered, erratic thinker. Okay, and because he lacks melanin, there's no way he sees the world as we see. Some motherfuckers colorblind. You know what I'm saying? And the level of melanin in your pupil and in your brain and your body is what gives you the ability to see at night, to see at distances, and to see color quicker. You know what I'm saying? We respond, we see that ball coming a lot quicker. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers, half them motherfuckers don't see the ball till it's damn near in their face. You understand what I'm saying? So we can throw that motherfucker farther, we can throw it harder. And because we got the ability to damn near, our minds don't necessarily create the action. The melanin itself is so profound that it will make you do some shit that you didn't even think you could do. None of this shit that black people, when you watching these athletes, it's no way a motherfucker could just, think about doing. They do that shit in action, in the movement itself. And so what comes out of it, they don't even know. The shit that Jordan do, he wouldn't even know how the fuck he was doing it. Just the ability and to cohesively, connect these in, and then you start getting these creative, he's, his mind, his militaristic mind, I'm talking about Jordan, when he out there on it and he thinking not just to physically break a motherfucker down, but mentally break a motherfucker down. So he's got his physical aspect, he's got his mental aspect, he got all this shit working for him cohesively. And that's what takes one from being an average motherfucker to a good motherfucker to an immortalized individual in their field. You look at Tiger Woods, immortal. I don't give a fuck. I understand that the nigga ain't immortal on the divine aspect of his blackness, but he got some of them systems working to the point where he doing shit that ain't supposed to be done. If he did not have melanin, he would not have healed the way that he healed. In his mind, I can understand a motherfucker like that being on the top. He wasn't comfortable with not winning. You understand? That motherfucker seen that his life was flashing before him, that he was almost kissing immortality, and his ass failed. And that motherfucker failed for many years and then went right back to the pinnacle. It's hard for a motherfucker to do that. You cannot do that just by chance. That motherfucker got that system back working for himself. And when he got that motherfucker, he beat motherfuckers in his field that were the best in his field at the best motherfucking tournament in the world. So that shows you that when you get that mechanism moving, and you can do that for any aspect of life, is what I'm telling you. You understand? Even in our liberation in architecture, medicine, any field, you can reach that stage of immortality when you intertwine the different power centers. And it's more than some seven. Okay, it's more than some goddamn seven. You know what I'm saying? And we don't know how many there are because the body is a very advanced system. You see what I'm saying? So our ancestors knew millennium amount of information that we know today. And again, when we were severed from our connection with our ancestors and our culture and our history, we lost a lot of that. But we still know enough in what direction to go. And if we have to relearn it, we just have to relearn it. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? And when we get it this time, we never lose it again. So when we go back to the Olmecs, we see that even the Olmecs were very profound in the respects of the color green. When you go, that's Pakal, who was trained by the Africans. He received the African burial. Okay, jade, green jade, in which the Olmecs was already using jade before the Indians started using the jade. Okay, now let's get to the erratic thinking. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, I must show this too. I must show this. You know, when we talking about the Green Lantern, you understand what I'm saying? They still in that's the energy of Osiris. All Green Lantern is Osiris, Ptah. You know what I'm saying? They done created a mythological character to assume the power of these great African gods. And you can see that the image that they used was the Shin, which is a smaller version of the cartouche, which is only symbolic for eternity. And then they took that same symbol and used it in electronics for the ohm. But I'm gonna use, the top of the arc, which is, the symbol for electric wattage and power. You understand what I'm saying? Which I'm going to get off into that, probably in the next couple of days. But I just wanted to show the aspect of Green Lantern being a replica of the great African god Osiris, the great African god Ptah, who was shown green. Now, let me come down and let me get a reflection of where I'm at. Okay, here we go. Now, when you're in the erratic state of the European, and I'm gonna try to make this swift because I got to get on over here to the red. I'm gonna be touching on this forevermore, and so it's always gonna be an opportunity where green to the European is toxic. Okay, let me be clear. When you look at green for the European, the symbolisms of green is envy, jealousy. You understand what I'm saying? This is the profound understanding. So when you see people, and I've seen a lot of videos that's up on the damn internet, and then they'll have all these definitions of one color, and some of them will be negative, some will be positive. It's totally, you have no true understanding of what these colors mean because, those definitions are mixed and matched from all different aspects of the world. And so you can only define that color based on what culture you are trying to identify. Okay, just to throw them all in and just give a bland interpretation of the color is, again, that's controlling, that's pre-programming. You understand what I'm saying? So when you look at green to the European, it's toxic. You understand what I'm saying? The green-eyed monster, okay, which is jealousy and envy. Now, how in the hell do we go from all of these profound to the green? Because you're dealing with a man who's disconnected from the cosmos. He's disconnected from the sun. So when we see the sun as a life force, he sees the sun as a destructive demon. Okay, and I've shown that time and time again. When you talk about jealousy, when you talk about the Grinch, you understand? You're talking about green, motherfucker thieving and shit. Okay, you're talking about a thief. Wait a minute, let me get my other dang. Wait a minute. I had in my notes, and if I had it, I got it in my brain just in case. And just in case, I had to go and you know what I'm saying, and bring it back. And envy. You understand what I'm saying? And so even Superman, you understand what I'm saying? That motherfucker, his kryptonite was green. You understand what I'm saying? So that show you right there. They show you right there, and they try to make him a false representation of the Christ. Because again, I told you in the last video that when we talk about the return of Christ, Christ is the Son. God damn, that's the next age of the next solar age on this planet that's gonna purify this planet. All that ain't supposed to be on this motherfucker, he's gonna leave it, or his ass gonna go up underground. And when the ass go up underground, they're gonna mutate. That's just reality. You understand what I'm saying? So we see this is their so it's not that they see the cosmos as we see the cosmos. You see what I'm saying? You see them right there breaking down. So not just the greenness, but your African interpretation will do that to the Caucasoid civilization. See, you got to live your reality. You cannot be subliminally brainwashed through color, pre-coded color definitions given to you by your oppressor, because that's going to subliminally disconnect you from your divinity. You understand? Because you're going to have a preconceived notion of what these colors mean. And if you don't understand what they mean to you and your divinity, you're never going to reach your divinity. Once you understand what they mean and you honor that and you live in that, I guarantee you're going to rise from out the muck. You're going to rise from out the muck of the European civilization. You, along with the physical aspect of liberation, not just I'm going to eat. Some niggas just eat greens and juice all day. That don't mean you're going to get free, nigga. Didn't nobody tell you to buy no juicer and juice in the belly of the beast. You understand? You juicing to get your mind and your body right, but you got to physically become free of this beast ultimately. You understand what I'm saying? You niggas want to be vegetarians in the belly of the beast. I'm this, I'm that. Nigga, is you free? That's so we don't want to over exemplify certain shit without respecting the fact that it's all about liberation and getting free. It's always the ultimate goal of our people. And so you understand when you're not connected to the sun, and go back and watch, the Adam and Eve, on the general setting, I'm showing you that they disconnect. When you are disconnected, you are in a fucking unfiltered realm of rage. And you ain't understanding that, the shame of being born without melanin. We got to understand that the original sin is being born without melanin. And you see that they will put out of Eden forever. And you see them leaving in shame, and the shame turned into despair, and despair turned into rage, and rage turned into revenge. And so this is what you're getting. Now, this is what you're getting. So this is their aspect. And so when you look at his jealousy, his rage, his envy, you understand what I'm saying? And so, you seeing that when motherfucker go green, he just snap. And you understand these motherfuckers shooting peoples all over the guy. And so if you fall into the preconceived subliminal programming of the Caucasoid, you in essence become exactly what they are. You're disconnected and you're crazy and you're doing your motherfucker. You see a motherfucker eye gamma raised and hit this motherfucker because why? He does not have melanin. His system is non-functional. Matter of fact, he don't have no system. And so when the elements, and so when that chlorophyll hit him, when that green hit him, it does the same as, you understand, the sun actually hitting the top of the layers of his epidermis. If that chlorophyll, which is also, the after effect of the UV on vegetation, once that shit go in his body, it does the same thing from the inside. You understand what I'm saying? As if the sun was hitting his ass from on the outside. That's why they got to take that goddamn vegetation into the goddamn lab and fuck with it and take a lot of them elements out of the goddamn plants. You understand what I'm saying? Because that shit is causing his ass cancer on the inside. You better wake your monkey ass up. Okay, you better wake your monkey ass up. So, family, and again, I'm gonna show you again here, you know, the toxic understanding. So how in the fuck do we just go from medicine and harvest and herbs and fruit and shit? And that just letting you know you cannot have the same definition. If we would have never come in contact with the European, we would never have no understanding and no jealousy, no envy, no none of that being an aspect of green. We would not know that. That's only from European subliminal pre-programming and brainwashing of the African mind. You understand what I'm saying? So those are solely the definitions of European people. So again, you cannot look at the world through the eyes of your oppressor and see your divinity. You're not going to be able to do that. You got to wake up today, family. Colors is a large part of being programmed. Let me come out of there because we had 9/11 and I want to go over to the red. I want to go over to red. And I don't mix them together. I want them to be separate. Okay? You cannot look through the motherfucking eyes of your goddamn oppressor and see your divinity. Okay? This man is totally in a state of madness. Motherfucker just, you know, I don't know if that was a black man down there, but, you know, 9 times out of 10, it wasn't in Virginia Beach. You understand what I'm saying down there? You know, and they talking about, man, listen, how many motherfuckers, you know, it's been damn near 200 mass shootings in America already this year. 200, close to 200 mass shootings. So that right there lets you know that this is real in the motherfucking field out there. You better wake your ass up. You being programmed through color spectrum, and you better wake up because now that you know we're gonna deal with it much like frequency. You know that frequencies they putting out here, and you can't. Sometimes you can't even hear that shit. You understand what I'm saying? But it's in the air, and all emotions. They have studied that shit as a frequency. You know what I'm saying? So if you watched like the Kingsman with Samuel L. Jackson, how they was turning that shit up and making niggas go crazy and shit, where they start killing each other, when they put this 5G shit out here, they gonna be on that level. All these new videos is on that level. That when you playing that shit and you is putting out a certain frequency that's causing your ass to be in a whatever emotion that they done studied the frequencies and the emotions. They know what frequencies is out here. We got to wake up. Motherfucker might have to put goddamn earplugs in his motherfucking ear to survive out here, man. Straight the fuck up. Motherfucker might, when walk out, I might have to put some goddamn earplugs in my shit. God damn it. It's gonna have to be some type of filtering of information. And we need to come up with that. We need to be able to put something where we'll be able to hear, but all them crazy ass frequencies would not be allowed to go in our motherfucking ear. We got to have something, you know, to be out here, because when they start putting all these motherfucking satellites and antennas up here that's pushing that fire, and another thing before I go, the one thing that they said in order to get this 5G shit out here, you know what they got to do? They got to cut down the trees. We talking today. You talking divinity? You got to cut down the trees because that shit cannot move through the tree. So that's showing you again the divinity is on our side. You motherfuckers let them come through and cut the shit down if you want to. You ain't got no goddamn. You better put you some goddamn trees around your fucking house. Okay? I don't give a fuck. Put you some trees around your fucking house. You understand? Because trees block all that shit. That shit just can't go through the tree. And that's showing you the divinity of God. All right, family, give me 5 minutes or less, and I'm gonna come right back with the shade of divinity, the African cosmic connection to the color red. Be black in the house, family. Peace.